Love hitting.
Alcaraz has looked comfortable so far. Brushed aside the challenge of Yoshihito Nishioka in the first round. This is actually his first outing on Rod Laver this year.
He's
been over on Margaret Court for the first couple of rounds.
Love that.
Is the win predictor, which unsurprisingly is heavily weighted in favour of the Spaniard.
Gee, good hands there. Very clever forehand.
15-30.
Placing that ball down the line. I bet that win predictor would be a little closer if it was best of 3. That logic tells me that.
Yeah.
Not so in best of 5.
Just got to look at Rui Machado there. He was a former player himself. Portuguese. Love the clay, did Rui. He's helping, coaching Nuno Borges these days. On the right there. Taking a look at the data.
On.
He's got some skill. Pretty obvious, isn't it?
His serve so far has been very impenetrable, borderline. He's only been broken once so far as Borges through 2 rounds.
30-40.
But may not have faced anyone with the returning quality of Alcaraz.
Well, he makes this game look so easy at times. What flair that takes. Deliberately pushed away. The natural backhand there is back down the line with a bit of safety net. That one is a little riskier, and you need control with a racket face, and made it look so simple.
What do you think the sort of non-negotiables are against Alcaraz, from your perspective, Fitzy, when you come out to face him early on, I guess?
What you have to avoid doing?
Yes. What are the essentials against him early on?
Well, I think if you can contain his power, which is not easy to do, keep the ball deep. I mean, at least if you keep the ball deep, which is not, you can't just click your fingers and do that, again, particularly against this power. But it stops him having an easier task of putting the ball away early and really overpowering you in the point. So that's the first thing that comes to my mind.
Yep.
Keeping your heart rate down, I'd say. Nick? Yeah. Because you'd be, I think your heart rate would be up. I know it would be against a player like this.
Game over.
He's off to a bright start.
It's just subtle, though. Some of it's obvious when he just bludgeons a winner and hits someone off the court. But the pressure that he brings to the court just by his presence,
yep,
you know, probably contributed to that loss of serve. I mean, he's barely lost his serve in the first 2 rounds.
Absolutely. Here with the spin rate, this is interesting. This is just the sort of how much spin on the ball from the back, and you can see Borges hits it pretty flat. That's i.e. that's sort of obviously the flight that he's getting from the back of the court. He's one of the flatter hitters out there, and particularly compared to Alcaraz. Alcaraz's numbers on the forehand, if you look comparing sort of the top of the sport, that 3,000 is extremely high. That's right up there. One of the reasons as well why he actually likes playing during the day. He says he much prefers playing during the day, and obviously conditions are a little bit faster. The court's a bit livelier during the day. Going to get more bounce out of it. That will accentuate the spin.
Well, that's what happens when you drop the ball short.
15.
So sometimes you have no choice, and you're just trying to get the ball back into play. But any time it's short, on either wing, but particularly the forehand, with that spin ratio and that power, you probably are going to lose the point. It's safe to say. Just like that. And he does it with ease, as though he's not even attempting to swing hard at that ball. The racket speed happens on its own. Well, certainly simply.
Yeah, he's made a slight change to the service motion, something that he's been asked about a lot this week in the off-season. To get a more potent first serve pretty much is the ultimate goal. Wants to improve the numbers on the first serve percentage. That's a big goal for him as well. Pretty much one of the categories where he wasn't quite as successful last season as some of his peers was those first serve points won.
Well, there we go. Case in point, it's too short. Second serve, you've got to
50.
make an effort, I think, well, I know, to get the ball deeper. Otherwise, this will happen. On the first hit, mind you, inside the service line, point over.
It's a good example of where that flat hit can be effective, can't it? It shoots through the court.
Well, apart from the presence of these great players, though, down the other end, you seem to have so much less time. Players get rushed against this, and they don't get a chance to take their time and play their game.
Yeah.
So sometimes you don't even see their full array of skills because of that.
Game. Alcaraz.
Consolidates the break nicely.
Alcaraz
Come to play.
By 2 games to 11.
Been too many players over the years that have been able to transition as quickly as he has from that position. Federer was obviously one of those, wasn't he? But he is so instinctively looking for that move north-south, isn't he? If that's the right way of putting it on a tennis court.
Ah. 15 left.
I think his variety probably comes from all that fun he had as a youngster, learning different shots.
Yes.
That's why his repertoire is so broad.
15.
His grandfather was heavily involved in tennis. We see that a lot, but his grandfather actually was involved in building the club where he trains now, just outside of Murcia. Lovely little club it is. They've got a lot of courts. They recently put in some hard courts down there. Lovely spot. And he still trains there to this day.
Borges has to use his peripheral vision there. At the last second, he needed to have the ability to change that forehand direction. He nearly got into trouble because Alcaraz had anticipated beautifully.
40-15.
I bet he would have made that drop shot against a lesser player. It's the intimidation factor, isn't it? You know how you have to hit each shot better than you're normally used to doing.
Yes.
Certainly didn't expect that return to come back, did he, with as much purchase as it did.
Advantage. Borges. Cain, Borges.
He opens his account and he's finds himself skipping to his chair. Early break though, is owned by the Spaniard. Won his maiden tour title last summer, did Nuno Borges over in Bostad in Sweden. Actually beat Nadal in that final.
Well, on paper, that's one heck of a win.
Yeah.
Because that is generally, as we see the young fella again, that is generally a slow clay. As I remember it, Nick, from years ago, playing on it, very difficult for a non-clay court to do well because it was so heavy, so slow. And he played Rafael Nadal.
Yeah, the final.
Yeah.
Of course, it was just before the Olympics, so Rafa was looking for some matches as well. On the coast, with Swedish coast, isn't it?
Fair to say Rafa wasn't still at his best in those days, but on paper, that's a very good win.
Talking of Nadal, of course, a man who liked to have things in the right place, didn't he? Alcaraz has got his bottles lined up. Quarter-finalist here last year. Alcaraz lost to Alexander Zverev in that quarter-final.
Left.
Zverev, of course, just above him in the rankings, isn't he, at the moment? The German currently 2 in the world after his stellar year last year.
Love.
The pretty incredible when you win 2 majors, Fitzy, and you're still 3 in the world.
Yeah. Are they your first 3? I mean, easy picks, do you think, on the men's side? First 3 choices this year, biggest chances?
Probably. You?
Yeah, I think so.
.30-15.
I mean, Medvedev gone now.
How much of a hurdle is it for Sasha, having not won a major, Fitzy, to get over it?
Well, something that I will never truly be able to tell you because I didn't experience it, Nick, but I imagine that it is the hardest one, the first one. And the longer it takes, the worse it gets. Quite often you see players, if they win one, they make that breakthrough, then they might win 2 or 3 more. He's too good a player for me not to win one. I'm not sure how you feel, but
30.
His performances have been knocking on the door. He's got to put it all together, and he's not as big a favourite as Alcaraz and Sinner, in my opinion.
Yep.
But he's too good a player not to win a major, and I think in a sporting sense, it'd be a bit of a tragedy if he didn't.
Oh. 40.
He's cut that a bit fine.
He's certainly not afraid to go for the lines, young Carlos.
Full extension, isn't it, when he makes contact with the ball? The arm is actually straight as he strikes it. Some of the best forehands we've ever seen.
Game. Alcaraz. Alcaraz leads by 3 games to 1.
Well, I certainly saw his previous match, and he was just on easy street with Nishioka, and it was no disrespect to the Japanese player, but he was overpowered by this man, and his body language wasn't as animated, I don't think, as it is today.
$15 left.
Not beaten a top 5 player so far in his career. Nuno Borges, 0-6 he is against those players in the top 5. Not actually beaten a top 10 player either so far. Not that they're giving those away. We make it sound so easy, don't we?
Exactly. The top 10 is not giving them away. That's I like that line.
$40 left.
In fact, his best win by ranking, just as a reference point, came here last year in the win over Dimitrov. He was 13 in the world at the time.
Game. Borges.
Trying to settle in here, though. That'll help. That's
Alcaraz leads by
super quick hold.
3 games to 2.
As the Portuguese closes the gap in the first.
Time.
Probably the hottest ticket in men's tennis, I would suggest. Carlos Alcaraz. Would you go along with that?
Well, it's hard to argue with.
As great as Jannik Sinner has been, probably just feel as though the X factor still is slightly with the Spaniard in terms of what he can produce, don't you? And I mean that from an entertainment perspective.
I absolutely agree. The flair is different to most, to all. That flair and entertainment doesn't always mean that you win more than the guy that plays like Jannik Sinner.
That's a nice number. Look at that. It just goes to show how much winning he's already done. Fast start to his career, undoubtedly.
Well, there's a good chance now that he'll pass down on Medvedev here too.
Yep.
What a brutal hit on that forehand that is.
Hard to really get a feel as well on a TV screen just how much that ball is moving, isn't it, Fitzy, and how much it's doing off the court and jumping and moving away from you.
It's like one of those super balls. You remember the old super balls? You bounce it and it'd take off. It was a play thing like a toy years ago.
Yep.
That's how it feels. It's like a hand grenade taking off the court. Maybe that's not an appropriate comparison, but it explodes. It just accelerates off the court and bounces.
Yeah, especially on a day like today where it's sunny. It's a little bit livelier. Obviously, it's going to get warmer as well as the week as we head into the weekend. So we'd imagine that would make conditions even faster.
.15. Game over.
Serve numbers so far.
Alcaraz leads by 4 games.
Pretty impressive. Let's have a look at the speeds. It's always nice to compare year upon year, isn't it? And judging by this today, he's obviously getting a little bit more bang for his buck there.
Yeah. That's interesting. If he's hitting the same amount of serves in, maybe that looks like it's an improvement.
Yeah.
If it's causing him to miss a lot more, I'm not sure. It's debatable.
Absolutely.
How would you describe that?
Love 15.
Sumptuous. Is that okay?
Yeah, good enough.
I mean, he's just on him, isn't he? It wasn't a bad attempt at a pass either.
Look at the control on the racket face there, Nick, when he just opened and angled the racket face to make that touch volley. That's the flair we're talking about. Well, probably an easier one to take on the backhand wing in retrospect. But he was just a little sluggish getting into position, wasn't he, for that smash? That miss hurts, by the way. It contributes to making it love 40. And the first set will surely be gone if he loses this service game.
$15.40. Game. Alcaraz.
Just too much depth on the defence from Alcaraz, and Borges not ready and not quick enough to react to it. This is an ominous start with the Spaniard already up 5-2. Breezed through the first couple of rounds as Carlos Alcaraz. And, the evidence of this one so far, we might be following suit here.
There's been a tiny bit of body language from his opponent today, Nuno Borges, where it just looks a bit negative. It looks like there's not enough belief there. You can understand why against one of the modern greats already in Alcaraz, but his head's dropped a couple of times after a few, one or two mistakes.
Yep.
Not sure there's enough belief there. New balls, that should help the server.
$15.
He had Matteo Berrettini over to Spain in the off-season, pre-season, should I say, to do some work with Matteo. Jack Draper was going to go, but he actually got an injury. So Matteo flew down to Spain, spent a week or 10 days with Alcaraz as a sparring partner.
30 love.
That'll be fun. It'll be hard work.
Yep.
But a great experience too, with one of the top players in the world, as Berrettini is, just a fraction below here. Wow. He can go either way, Nick, can't he? It's a scary thought when he gets set.
40
when he gets those feet into position and the ball, and he has to generate his own power. Right now in the game, there's no one better, I think. Well, I know, because Nadal is not here anymore.
15.
What a great impact Rafa had as well on not just this man's career, but all Spaniards in terms of leading the way, showcasing how it should be done. The attitude, of course, among many other things.
And being a great leader for the sport.
Yeah.
That's leaving a legacy.
Game and first set over.
This man will be hoping to do something similar. May well do just that as well. This has been a fast start here.
6 games to 2.
Just over half an hour played. He's already got a set in the back. 7 sets that have been comprehensive thus far in this tournament.
15 left.
Borges, of course, beat Jordan Thompson in the previous round. Just a bit tougher when you hit the forehand a bit flatter. The ball there, when you're trying to get it up and down quickly, it's a little more challenging when you don't have the spin.
T15.
Vying to become the highest ranked Portuguese player ever. It's not far away. João Sousa actually holds that title. And he's here this week actually, is João.
14-15.
He's got a new job. He retired as a professional last year. And he now works for the ATP. He's Director of Player Communication. The ATP is João Sousa these days.
Game. Borges.
He obviously doesn't mind being on the road.
No. No, that's right.
First game, second set.
Having just come off it. Yeah, what a respected figure João Sousa was. Someone that got everything out of his career. Famously won on Portuguese soil. The Estoril Open, which is a fantastic event down in the spring. No longer on the calendar, which is going to be returning next year, I'm told. So it's going to be a big challenger this year. Made the most of his luck. Needs a bit of that, you feel.
Love 15.
Well, I think he deserved a bit. His reply to that approach shot was very impressive. Did get the slice of luck with the let cord. Well, he comes to entertain, doesn't he? The Robbie Williams of tennis. He turns up and plays all sorts of different shots with flair, with touch, with guile. ultimately with power. Maybe sometimes he's got too many choices.
Yeah, and it's his soft skills that separate him, isn't it, from some of the rest of the field. His ability to just soften the ball up and good discipline. There's a range of gears out close, doesn't he? Extensive range of gears that he can call upon.
30 on.
And I think notably, he can rev very high in the low gears.
Yes.
And then as he goes through them, there seems to be more and more acceleration. Maybe it's just that his red line is higher.
Mm-hmm.
$40-30.
That new serve that you talked about, Nick, looking pretty good.
Yeah. So far, close to 60% first serves, and even 11 of 15 first serve points. And again, we keep an eye on those averages in terms of the speed. It's come down a little bit from where we were.
Cain, Alcaraz.
Wow. What can't he do?
1 game.
And it's a great play because the fascinating thing is he's gone backhand up the line here. So he pretty much knows that Borges is going to go back cross because he's in a slightly more defensive position. And he takes the forehand so early, doesn't he? That Borges hasn't recovered from the forehand side. He's got so much space to work with because of how early he hits it.
And foot speed is needed to put yourself into that situation. But
yeah.
Yes, the whole combination, the whole gamut. Didn't hit that very well. He sort of over-accentuated that drop shot without needing to, I think. I see here anyway, he, out of picture, he just sort of overdid the body movement, the deliberateness of the drop volley. He didn't need all of that, and he didn't hit it anywhere near finely enough.
Nope.
$30.
Well, that would have been a winner. No doubt. I think he picked the right ball there, but again, doesn't execute it.
Yeah, a little tougher to hit it off a slice, isn't it, Fitzy?
Yes.
At time, as you say, but
Cain. Borges.
yeah, a couple of straightforward holds for Nuno Borges in set 2. As he looks to try and establish himself here in this third rounder. Iberian battle. Been too many actually over the years at a major level. Look at the numbers. In fact, this is only the 6th meeting in the Australian Open between a Spaniard and a Portuguese in the Open era. Portuguese got a good couple of young players coming through though, so that number might grow.
There's a pretty good Portuguese-speaking player coming through as well from another continent.
Fonseca, I presume you're referring to.
Yep.
Tila. Late seconds.
There's just not enough heaviness of shot, I don't believe, with Nuno's his return of serve. It's just not giving Alcaraz any stress. Gives him plenty of time to get set for his favourite shot.
Game over.
Couldn't have been much more aggressive than that off a second delivery.
2 games on.
His brother Alvaro on the left there. They warmed up together. Alvaro so often the hitting partner at the majors. It's nice, isn't it? Keep it in the family. And a younger brother plays back in Murcia, playing a lot of tennis. There's a, as we mentioned, the whole family tree pretty much are involved in the sport. If you look through it, Dad obviously here, as he always is. Actually went over to play a couple of exhibitions in December. Did Alcaraz. Went over to the States to play Francis Tiafoe. Played on Madison Square Garden as well, where he played Ben Shelton. Some fairly financial, some big bucks, I think, came his way for that.
What would make you think that?
Maybe I'm just cynical, Fitzy. Sold out Madison Square Garden, they did. Pretty special evening.
Game. Borges.
Yeah, holding on impressively here. And certainly making much more of a fist of this second set is Nuno Borges. Who leads 3-2. walk from Flinders Street Station. Impressive outfits. Even you must have been taken back, Fitzy, how much this event has grown in the last decade or so.
Well, I think that's an understatement, really. You're being modest in your question, because I know we've both seen it change so dramatically, and particularly for me, who is considerably older than you, Nick. Well, I started playing the Australian Open at Kooyong Lawn Tennis Club, private club. It's evolved into this extraordinary event. The Australian Open these days, so different to when I remember it as a young person, and I'm so proud of it as an Aussie. And it's a truly global event. More than 1 million people through the gates. 1.1 last year.
Yeah,
it's heading that direction this year as well.
Well, he played a great point, didn't he? I'm not sure what more he could do there.
I agree. I was about to compliment him so much on how he played this point. I thought this was good enough, but look at the foot speed. It goes to show you really have to hit better shots than normal against these great players. Thought he had him.
Let's
have a look at this number. This is this +1 shot, which obviously is significant for Alcaraz, given how big his forehand is today. He's missed that one, but obviously what it does illustrate is how effective he is at getting ahead in the point very quickly by using the forehand, Fitzy.
Yep, exactly. It allows him to use his biggest strength after the serve to either hit a winner or set up the point in his favour, just time and time again.
30-15.
Fourteen winners and 14 unforced today for Alcaraz so far.
$14-15.
He's being continually stretched out on the run from the back. The baseline points won here. Very much favouring Alcaraz at the moment.
Game over.
Got the lob wedge out there, didn't he? It was straight out, and pretty much straight down. Look at the height he gets.
And the pressure builds, doesn't it, on a lower ranked player, the deeper you get into the set.
$15 left.
And he missed the 2 first serves in this set so far as Borges. That's helping his cause.
And therein lies the example of dropping the ball short. Just against a normal player, this is okay. But against Alcaraz, not enough. Not enough heat on the ball, not quite enough depth. He can hit winners from anywhere. We probably should have won that point, Carlos.
30-15.
Had the opportunity from here. The lob not quite good enough. And then he still, I thought, was favourite to win it from there. Lost opportunity. To go against you, Nick.
No, and the nets here in Melbourne Park this year have been pretty dead, haven't they? They've not really been jumping off. When it's hit the net, it's kind of died most of the time. Unforgiving, no way back in that exchange. Body serve proved effective, and Borges continues to hold on to his slender lead in the second. The Portuguese
by 4 games to
the 4-3 lead.
Time.
So perfect fiery conditions really in the warmth of the midday sun. And the ball flying a little bit off this surface. Alcaraz comfortable, but still hasn't broken through in the second set. On serve. And that trend of first serve, forehand continues. That's how he bases his game.
Love.
Been pretty frugal, hasn't he? Allowing opportunities for his opponent on serve so far.
Led first set.
Just 3 points lost in total on this set on his own deal. stretched him out.
30.
Alcaraz, for once, found himself in an uncomfortable part of the court. To Mississippi State, did Nuno Borges. Came out of college in 2019. Was a little scuppered initially because, of course, COVID hit just 6 months later, so his development was stunted a little.
40-15.
There wasn't the availability of competition, obviously, for 6 months to a year. But his rise after that was quick. And it took him 2 years to break the top 100. And then he can get himself inside the top 50, so he's an established member of the tour now.
Game over. New balls, please.
The college pathway is becoming a familiar one for a lot of
Ball
professionals.
games
If you look at the number of male players last year that played at the majors, it was around an average of 20 players that have played college tennis that were in the majors. So we've got 128 brought. It's a big portion of them, 15 now, that have had some experience of college tennis.
Certainly a good advertisement for that pathway.
Yep. More time under your belt, obviously, to grow physically, and
Yeah, you need a good program and you need a good coach.
you do.
Sometimes that's the luck of the draw.
Yep. Yeah, because Borges, by his own admission, pretty much didn't really play a whole lot of tennis in until his mid-teens, sort of 14, 15. He wasn't considering this would be a way of earning a living, particularly at that age, necessarily.
15. Oh. Mr. Burgess is requesting a replay at the left.
Fortunate there, wasn't he, Borges?
30-15.
Miss-hit forehand actually worked out well because the lack of depth on it.
He does have some negative body language, though. Nuno, when he shows his disappointment, in a way, it can show the opposition or give the opposition some encouragement. He's done it again. And this is the crossroads he faces in this set.
And again, it can be the forehand. Does margins at times are a little slim. Having held on comfortably throughout the set, he's now under the pump here.
Game over.
Unforgiving. A devastating blow from Carlos Alcaraz comes at an opportune time in the second. He'll serve for a 2-set lead here. Talk about a sting attack right there.
Yeah, I think that the problem for a lesser player against someone of Alcaraz's ranking and ability is that you have to play on the edge the whole time. You have to play close, if not at your best, for a long period of time, just to stay there. And if you drop off a fraction, which Borges did in that game, it can be over quickly.
So the young Spaniard who's chasing the full set of majors here in Melbourne over the next fortnight. Nuno Borges, incidentally, the youngest player ever to win all 4 majors. He was 22 years and just over 260 days when he did it. In the Open era, Rafa was the man.
15 left.
And Rafa, 24 years and 32 days. So Alcaraz has got a couple of goes at this if he's to surpass Rafa and beat him in that record.
This one and next.
Mm-hmm.
Be a little cheeky, wouldn't it, if he
Yeah.
surpassed the great man in terms of age? In one category.
Yeah.
Only 8 players have already done it, Nick, in the men's game. And the first 4 that did it won 3 of them on grass.
Yep.
1 on clay, the French. Wimbledon, the US, and the Australian were all on grass.
Yeah. Kooyong.
Yes. And occasionally other states.
Mm-hmm. Forest Hills, so in the States as well.
Yes, that's where it was. Roy Emerson and Rod Laver were part of that group. Agassi was the 5th one to achieve it. He did it on all 4 surfaces. And since then, Federer, Nadal, Djokovic. So what company would this young man be in if he wins the Australian Open?
15-30.
In any year, but certainly if he does it in the next 2, he'll become the youngest.
Yep. First double of the match from the Spaniard, though. It's just made this game a bit more complicated.
I'm not going to talk about it anymore, but I'm going to dwell on it in my own thought processes. That is a staggering achievement.
Yep.
30 on.
Trying to put this second set away.
So deft.
Sweet lips.
40-30.
Just perfection.
So soft in its landing as well, wasn't it? Barely any forward momentum. Set point.
Game and second set, Alcaraz.
It's been a clean display of world-class tennis right now from Carlos Alcaraz, who's won.
15 left.
I think Nuno's been a bit better since the first set. It's my gut feel that he's kept the ball a little deeper. He doesn't hit the ball with the same forward speed as Alcaraz. Not many do, if any.
It's those sort of situations, isn't it, there as well, where he's hit a pretty decent backhand there, but suddenly he's really found himself under pressure, and he knows he can't just go back cross there because he's probably going to be chasing again.
Yeah. The skill of Alcaraz turning a negative ball into a positive one in one hit.
First serve numbers definitely improved in set 2. He was able to get a few more free points, or needs that again in the third.
$40-15. Borges.
The variety, the versatility, the flair, and the fun.
But Borges was there for the ride, wasn't he? I'm sure for him, must be feeling pretty good that he was able to win this point, because the first two blows from Alcaraz here, look at this, 181 Ks. And this one was about 160 less. Incredible.
It was. Yeah, I think Borges was there for the ride, as you say, but he was wide-eyed and bushy-tailed. He was hanging on. It was like a wild stallion. He had hold of the reins, but he wasn't sure where it was going to go.
Yeah. It's a bit like buying a ticket for a sort of tennis roller coaster, isn't it? when you play Carlos, I think. I get the sense. Just got to hold on tight sometimes. Keep smiling.
Good stuff there from Borges. Fighting hard here.
Love 15.
It's a bit of ingenuity, that shot was. Don't see that very often.
Bit of Medvedev in that.
Love 30.
Carlos Ferrero there, front and centre. Of course, wasn't here last year. Fair bit made of that. Some feeling as though Alcaraz was a little lost without his leading light behind the scenes.
Former #1 himself.
Still unbelievably fit as well, Juan Carlos. He's been with Alcaraz, of course, since he was 13 years of age, 14 years of age, so he's been able to really steer this man, keep him on the right track. Couple of problems though.
Yeah.
For him to work his way through now.
He called this a hiccup.
Yeah, 2 doubles in this game. And Borges has got his first break points to work with.
I just feel like he has to do everything in his power to get the first one as deep as he can. That increases his potential to win the point. That's just too easy. Chipping the ball almost near the tee. Alcaraz is going to get an easy forehand from there.
Let's bring Josh Eagle in, because Josh has made his way down to courtside after a busy morning.
Yeah, phenomenal ball striking. I mean, how's the power on that last shot? That is just off the charts. And the timing, it's lively out here. It's warm courtside, I've got to say. In temperature, it's not that hot here in Melbourne today, but this court really does retain a lot of heat, so it's lively conditions. And what I'm loving, guys, is it's like an artist at times, isn't he, Carlos Alcaraz? It's brilliant, and his imagination and the types of shots he wants to play. Mere mortals who are top 100 players just can't go with him. They can't even hit those types of shots. So it's a real delight to watch a full flight Carlos Alcaraz.
Bit of an opportunity missed. And again, the forehand it is that just doesn't quite have the control attached to it. And Alcaraz survives.
Nick, I'm just recovering from a Queenslander suggesting that the sunny conditions here are very impressive south of the border. That doesn't happen much in this country.
Well, it doesn't happen much in Nick's country either.
I mean, that's a low blow, right?
Got to get it in early, guys.
He's just given us 2 low blows, one for you, one for me, since coming into the commentary. He's been here 2 minutes.
I mean, the thing is, I've got no reply though, Fitzy, because he's absolutely right.
Yeah, but you're a nice guy.
Joking aside, though, Josh, is it the soft skills of Alcaraz that separate him from, when you look at the top 10? Obviously, I'm not saying he hasn't won. He's won a lot, but is it those soft skills you think that separate him from a lot of others?
I think so, and I think it's, you know, his top end is just so impressive. It's so dominating. And I think there's so much more upside. There's so much more skill development to come. I think we look what Sinner has done. He's really tightened up his game over the last couple of years, and he is rock solid. That's why he's winning. I wonder whether Carlos gets to that level of maturity or with his game style, but he's fun to watch, there's no doubt about it. He's already won 3 slams. There's many more to come, you'd think.
Some good depth from the Portuguese. Again, in a good serving groove, early stages of the third.
I just love how he really is enjoying his tennis. You can see the interaction here courtside with his team, with Juan Carlos Ferrero. There's no stress at all. I mean, 2 sets to love. I don't see why there would be stress, but it's open dialogue between the player and the coach and the team, and he's experimenting with different things. So now's the time to do it early in the tournament. It's a cruise control at the moment for Carlos Alcaraz.
Game.
On that one fizzed off the tape. That's not always been the norm here in week 1.
Borges leads by
the Portuguese
2 games to 1.
Up 2-1 third set. Yeah, just taking a look at the draw here in the big picture in terms of where these players find themselves. The winner of this one will take on either Jack Draper or Alexander Vukic. They'll be in action tonight over on MCA. Further ahead, Djokovic and Mahatch, of course, are also in action tonight. They're in this section. Hitchka and Bonzi. A couple of upsets, as Fitzy mentioned, the teens. What a good tournament it's been for the three big teens. Fonseca having lost yesterday, but causing that upset. Lerner Tien last night, getting a win. And Jakub Mensik in place today.
Well, I did his match the other night to Nick, and he, in my opinion, will be a Grand Slam winner. Always a big statement to say who's a Grand Slam winner, or who may be in the future when young players come along, but we've seen some unbelievable 19-year-olds here at the Australian Open, and Mensik for me is one of them. I'm going out on a limb.
What makes you say that? Because obviously it's different, right, from being a great player, top 10, to being a major winner, Fitzy. Yeah. So what did you see in Mensik that makes you say that?
I just think his game is complete. Well, it's not complete yet, but he's got the foundation of a complete game. He's got to improve his net game a little bit, but he's ahead of most, certainly at that age, when he comes forward, and the rest of his game is big. Josh Eagles out of his chair.
This is ridiculous. Half the crowd are out of their chair with a point like that. Why wouldn't you be? What a talent, what a breath of fresh air, Carlos Alcaraz. He is just thriving down here. Loving it.
Yeah, well said. He brings a smile to your face, doesn't he? And the game needs an injection always of fresh air. Beautiful.
Sheila.
Be interesting to watch the development of that serve this year, because that's the one big element of Sinner's game, obviously, that took a major step up in the last 18 months. Time. Well, getting playful here.
Yeah. I'm an old guy. That's gone from fresh air to bad wind for me. I mean, I'm not sure I like the one between the legs, but it's fun, isn't it? It's fun, and I love it when he does it, because you know that he gets joy from this stuff. It's not so much him showing off like it is with some. It's just joyful.
Yeah.
We shouldn't forget Nuno here. I mean, it takes guts and high ability to be able to stay out there on a court like this with Alcaraz. He's doing a good job. Top 40 player at the current time has been as high as 30 in the world. You need to be seriously good to be there.
Game over.
Yeah, the good news for Borges is that he's defended the majority of the points from last year as well, because round of 16 here.
2 games.
Ranking will pretty much stay where it is right now.
Guys, there's another guy you just need to keep your eye on the radar, Jaime Faria from Portugal. He played unbelievable, I thought, against Novak Djokovic in the last match. So just another one of these young guns. He's slightly older, 20 or 21, but he's got a massive game. So the men's game is in a really healthy space at the moment. And just we're seeing a change in terms of power.
Love 15.
And there's plenty of it courtside.
Yeah, what were you saying there?
Plenty of it. You just relax up in your air-conditioned box, but down here, it's hot and it's powerful stuff. We love it.
I think all this fresh air's gone to his head down there.
Yeah, must have done. I've seen some shots of that house he lives in Noosa as well, though, Fitzy. I tell you what.
Yeah. He lives.
Some people get all the luck, don't they?
He lives the high life.
That's right. You just guys relax up there, but this is a clinic he's putting on, like the power. He's hitting into the wind. The wind's coming from the city end down towards. It's into the face of Carlos Alcaraz. No problems. He's just absolutely delivering here. So a big chance.
Very well played point.
Very. Yep.
Inside the forehand, wasn't he, there on that last one as well? So it was moving away from Alcaraz.
It was an audacious attempt at that slice down the line, wasn't it? That would have been the shot of the tournament so far if he'd made that. That's what he was going for.
He hasn't been a match really decorated with long rallies, particularly. Alcaraz has seen to that. Average rally length is bang on 4 right now. Par for the course. Brilliant. What a get that was from Nuno Borges.
You know, Alcaraz was trying to go around the net post.
30.
Great get from Borges. It's the wrong angle to tell, but that's where Alcaraz, there it is. He's trying to go around the net post. He couldn't quite get the timing right. And that would have brought the house down. This is gutsy stuff.
40-30.
Borges hanging on. Thinking about trying to win one set here and get on the board. That's all he can do for now.
Cain. Borges.
Yeah, it's resolute from the world number 33. He's putting up some stubborn resistance here.
Borges leads by 3 games to 2.
We await a break in the third. Well, if it wasn't good enough first time around, let's have a look again. Athletic ability of this young Spaniard. Born entertaining.
Well, he's what you'd call a beautiful tennis player. So was, guess who? The guy he followed as a youngster, the great Roger Federer.
So there was.
This is, hey, no one's comparing, don't worry, we're not comparing anything here. But he has the same, he's tainted with the same brush, I would say.
Yeah.
Alcaraz.
Yeah, waited a few days to watch Alcaraz on the Rod Laver Arena this week. First outing on this court. It's been well worth the wait. He's been somewhere near his best.
Ah. 15 left. Love.
When he hits winners, he hits them by a long way often, doesn't he? It's so heavy and so accurate that it beats opposition players by meters. Look how far away this is from Borges.
Former winner tally has been
40 love.
ticking up in the right direction, continuing in this match. He's had 33 winners today as Alcaraz. 20 have come off that forehand win.
Game Melbourne. Three games off.
Youngest ever world #1. Of course, Alcaraz is probably will hope to gain a bit of ground in the spring because he barely played the clay court season last year. Going into the French, yes, of course, he's defending winners' points there, but that period with the 3 big Masters 1000s in the spring, he barely played. So it'll be a time he'll hope to try and gain some ground. Of course, will depend on Jannik Sinner and Sasha Zverev, as we say.
Ah. 15.
A bit ragged, didn't he, at the end of that rally?
Well, he's trying to improvise. He's trying to create opportunities to win points in different ways. So it's good to think about it. It's a different thing to execute it exactly right.
Creative. And still had a bit to do there, didn't he? That was some good touch.
15.
Yeah, well, I think when he moves forward here, Alcaraz, he's trying to fake. He's trying to fake Nuno across court with that shot, and was read well. Borges in control there.
It's just this transition, isn't it, from a relatively deep position to then suddenly taking it on the rise.
30 on.
Yeah, and you know, to a normal tennis player, I'd say don't approach a cross court to the forehand and run in. But with him, it doesn't matter because the speed of shot is so fast. He's got the opposition defending straight away. So he can come in on that ball.
Halt. Out. 40-30.
Exceptional.
Now we're up and about. That is amazing. I mean, to turn
And to have the feel and ability
to execute, is there anything this man can't do?
Well, I'm not prepared to challenge him,
Yes.
Josh. And his reaction,
Yeah, I love it because he's so excited by it.
well, it's an
Advantage.
indication of how good it was. He knew how good it was without needing to overly express it, but his body language showed that he thought it was a pretty good move.
And he knew exactly where Borges was going to be, right?
Yeah.
He knew he was coming forwards, which was always going to be the obvious move, but to have the control to pull it off. Pressing again here, break point.
Yes.
There's that body language from Borges again, just
Advantage.
shrugging his shoulders,
Okay.
dropping his head as if to say, I'm giving it my best shot here.
Yep. Rory Machado on the right. A good win in doubles yesterday, actually. Did Borges as well. With Cabral, they beat Venus and Mektic. So they'll be hanging around here.
Yes.
Doubles matches, doubles draw underway. Arevalo and Pavic are the top seeds in the men's doubles this year. French Open champions.
Advantage. Borges. Yes.
Well, if you're going to have luck, it might as well be good.
He had the afterburners on, didn't he? He was on his way here.
Advantage, Borges.
The dead leg cord. Possible. Here's a quick one for you both. Are we going to have a first-time major winner this year, do you think? 4 of the last 5 years, guys, we've had a first-time major winner. Do you see it happening this year? I know a little bit depends, obviously, on Sinner with that case in April, but do you see us getting a maiden major winner this year on the men's side?
Well, Zverev is a possibility.
Yeah.
A big possibility.
This guy is a human highlight reel.
Advantage.
Outrageous in every aspect.
Game.
Full credit to this guy.
New balls, please.
He's been a bit part player, but he's still very much part of the play
Borges
here.
leads
4-3.
by
Borges
4
leads.
games to 3.
Josh, back to that.
No, I don't think we will see a new slam winner. In fact, I think I like Novak's chances on the grass at Wimbledon. Of course, who knows what's going to happen with Sinner. Well, I think Fitzy's right. Probably Zverev is the best player not to have won a slam, I'd say, at this point. So for me, I'm going to say Carlos will be hard to beat at the clay, at the on the clay at the French. Novak at Wimbledon, along with Carlos, of course, who's won there. And I'm going to say no for the last slam at the US Open. So I don't think we will see one just yet. I mean, of course, I could be completely wrong, but that's just my thoughts. And I'm not sure what you think, Nick.
Yeah, I would say, just on the big picture, there's 2 players that have separated themselves from the rest right now. And again, at the majors, Zverev obviously has come close, hasn't he? But I think it's hard to back against them, as you would say.
Time.
Fun and games here on Rod Laver as we relive that point.
That would have been an illegal shot, by the way. If you look at that in replay, with the benefit of slow motion, the racket had already come out of his hand by the time he made contact with the ball. So
we could have gone to VAR, Fitzy.
Yeah, we might have. We needed to, because we thought it was still live.
Yeah, good spot.
In real time. And of course, Borges put the ball away anyway.
Yeah.
What if he'd missed it?
Yeah, great spot.
New balls. The benefit of slow motion. Great camera shot, by the way. Oh, he gets away with it. I'm not sure how there.
Love 50.
All the percentages were wrong with that forehand chip across court, but he wins the point. Carlos gives him an easy one.
Just a put a bit of meat on the bones as to those first major winners. Of course, Dominic Thiem, 2020 won the US. Medvedev won the US in 21, maiden major. Alcaraz, of course, 22, and then we saw Sinner win here in 24. So that's your 4 of the last 5 seasons to have those first-time major champions. After those big 3 were so greedy for a decade.
Yes, shame on those guys, you know.
Too many broken through, were there? Cilic, Wawrinka, of course, did it. Del Potro.
It gets so hard to win one, guys. I mean, now that Novak's ranked 7 in the world, and so he's seeded 5th to 8th. So in the quarterfinals, you know, you could be playing Djokovic to play Alcaraz to play Sinner.
Yep.
So to win a slam, think about trying to beat those 3 guys back to back to back. It seems impossible.
Yeah.
I think for me, just off the top of my head, the only other possibility is Taylor Fritz. Now, he made the final of the US. He's probably not favourite at it. Well, he's not favourite at any of the slams because the other guys are. But outside of Taylor, I'm not sure there's anyone in the top 15 or even 20 that you could say.
Yeah, that's a great call, Fitzy. I think you're right. Taylor Fritz on the hard courts here or at the US Open, he's more than capable because his game's so big. He gets protection because he's a top 4 seed at the moment. So I think that's a very good call.
Yeah, I'm not sure there's
I don't agree with you often, but I will today. Okay.
I don't mind direction.
I mean, the other feature is just the European dominance, isn't it? I think it's, I want to say 70 of 71 majors won by Europeans. Now, of course, Del Potro was the only guy to break the mold there.
If you look at the top 20 now, there might be 1.
Go on then.
There might be 2 over time if they keep improving for 4 years that have a shot.
Okay.
But outside of that, I'm not sure there's major winners there. They're very, very good players. And it's easy for me to judge at my lowly ranking years ago. But these top guys that look like they might dominate. When you see tennis like this, live in the flesh, you can see why.
Yes.
Has to be an injury or 2.
Yep.
Or unforeseen circumstances. So hard to win a major. And Nick, you know, in golf, if you're ranked 80 in the world, you actually can win a major.
Yep.
And it happens. But if you're not ranked in the first half a dozen in the tennis rankings, it is
Advantage.
a rare egg.
Yep.
That when Boris Becker did it in 1985, it's a rare thing to see a player outside of those top few in rankings that wins.
Yes.
But I like your thought-provoking question.
Game over.
Yeah, that's got me thinking, who was the last player as an outlier to win a major? An outlier might be a wrong word, but just quickly gone back here. Gaston Gaudio, was he some, I mean...
No, I'd say Cilic.
Cilic?
Yeah.
As an outlier, though?
Yeah, well, I don't know what he was ranked at the time, but that was it really out of the box, I thought.
Yeah, fair point.
Gaudio was a clay court dog, so he could win it. You know, he was a guru on the clay, so maybe not as much of an outlier, but yeah.
I mean, Guga back in the day when people didn't know him, guys, when he won the French, wasn't that?
Maybe.
What was his ranking then?
Yeah, I don't know, but that's an interesting question.
Well, probably tennis was a bit more open back then, where it's been so dominant in this last 20 years.
15 left.
Yeah, but even back then, it was rare.
Yes.
It's even more rare now, but just due to the physicality of the game. So if you're not in beast mode all tournament long and physically in ridiculous shape, you can't win a slam. It's just, I mean, I mentioned...
We've got a bit of training to do, Josh.
Yeah, we've got a lot of training. But I mentioned, you know, to win a slam, you've got to beat Novak, to beat Alcaraz, to beat Sinner. That's just when you get to the quarterfinals. You've got to win 4 matches to get there, 3 matches to get there.
Yeah, I've just checked, Josh. Cilic was 11 in the world when he won the US Open.
Yeah, so it's kind of not really an outlier.
I mean, he was serving like a treat, wasn't he, in New York that year?
Yeah, he served rockets, I remember. I think it was the quarterfinals. He beat Federer, maybe 6-6 and 6 or something. It was a tight match. He was just serving huge. The courts were super quick that year, so that played into his favour.
What was Delpo ranked? Oh, yeah, running forehand is where he's dangerous.
You got to remember,
Borges here has done well, hasn't he?
Absolutely has.
Leads
He's got to 5 for the first time as well in a set. Well, I'll give you your answer in a minute about Delpo. George, give me a second to look that up.
Delpo actually was down match point to Federer, and he ran back and hit a shot between his legs the year Delpo won that.
Yeah. So he was, guys, 6 in the world when he beat Federer.
Okay. So he was a serious contender. That's...
So basically, it backs up what you're saying, Fitzy. It's very hard, isn't it? When you look at the outliers, it's just you basically got to be top 15 to have a chance of, you know, statistically.
Yep.
And I think if we delve deeper into that, Josh, I think it'd be higher than top 15. I think
so?
I think it'd be top 6, 8, somewhere there. So it is incredibly hard to win one. Only the best will do.
Melbourne Park, the site for the first major of the year. Stunning setting here on the Rod Laver Arena. Carlos Alcaraz is serving here to stay in the third.
$15 left. Love. $40 love.
He's won 41 of 47 first serve points today as Alcaraz. Been effective. Nicely guided.
40-50. Game. Over.
Feathery touch.
Just wonder if this is a game you might just lock in a little bit more, just might
5 games.
push hard here to try and get a break. He's got the wind behind him, so I feel like this is probably the better end. he's got more, well, not that he needs any more power because he's got plenty of it, but a big push here. See if he can break and then serve it out.
$15 left.
Only once has Alcaraz actually gone into the second week of a major without dropping a set. That was at the US Open in 2022, a year that he won. Beat Casper Ruud in the final that year, of course. That was a showdown in more ways than one. #1 ranking was on the line in that final as well.
Here's his chance, Josh, isn't it?
Yeah, we tend to forget about that. Casper Ruud, he had such a run there, didn't he, for a couple of years where he was playing for not just the US Open, but that world #1. And it's from that moment on, Carlos Alcaraz has sort of grabbed that moment, and it just looks like he's unstoppable. But then, of course, Sinner comes along, and it's a great rivalry we have at the top at the moment.
30.
Alcaraz
requesting a replay of the left.
I mean, how well has Borges played, really, to stay in this second set or third set? Excuse me. He is serving well. He's hitting the ball great. And so he's going to be around for quite some time on all surfaces.
Getting off the line there, I think he went after it, didn't he? And took a risk that paid off.
Cain. Borges.
His resistance is mightily impressive to watch here.
Borges leads by
He's
6
keeping
games to
Alcaraz at
5.
arm's length in the third. He's not very happy about it either. Spaniard getting a little frustrated.
Time.
Just getting a little bit flustered at the end of that game. A couple of lines found from Borges on serve. Still actually only been 2 breaks in this match, haven't there? In 2 hours. Borges looking for his first.
$15 left.
That power just doesn't give an opposition any time. I mean, against a lesser hitter, Borges would extend the rally much longer. in a lot of these cases.
$13, 15.
Good rally there from Borges. He's trying to make his move here.
30 all.
Yeah, enough pressure, wasn't there, just to keep Alcaraz defending. He's missed it. Borges just stabbing the ball back into play. And the Spaniards blinked.
30-40.
Set point for the world number 33.
Well, I give him credit. He tried to press.
Yes.
He tried to do something positive with the return to get a little pressure back on Alcaraz there. Plays it too deep.
Advantage, Alcaraz.
I mean, can you believe how good this guy's hands are? I mean, most people would be a little tight, a little nervous, but not Carlos. No problems. I mean, that execution is phenomenal. At a time when you're just trying to hold serve, and no problems though for this guy. Cool as you like.
Goes to it again and gets the result that he desired. Fabulous end to the set, and we are going to have a breaker to separate the pair here.
Six games all, tiebreak.
It's like we're at a weekend money tournament. Watching Carlos Alcaraz play, he just seems to get so much enjoyment and pleasure out of what he's doing, and it's like a weekend club match. It's a lot of fun out here. What he's doing, his shots.
Yeah, I think the only difference, Josh, is that players get a bit tighter at a weekend money tournament, don't they?
Well, not just the guys in the money tournament. Most of the guys in the top 100 would.
Yeah, exactly.
This guy doesn't. He is just... I mean, those two drop shots, they were not easy. I mean, his execution was just spot on.
Free spirit, this guy. Born and bred in Murcia and in southern Spain. Beautiful spot.
One on. Two, one, Alcaraz.
Alcaraz's record in tiebreaks at the majors last year, like most things he did, was impressive. 9-2 he was in breakers at the majors. You've got to hand it to the Portuguese #1. And that was magnificent. Didn't panic, Fitzy.
He's playing his best tennis quite easily in this third set. And particularly at the back end of the third set, I think, as well. And he deserves a lot of these points. Great passing shot there under pressure, saving that potential mini break. He's in this. He's got a chance. That's all you want out of life
Borges.
and out of sport.
Did get a third set on this court against Medvedev here last year in the round of 16 to take that to 4. To extract an error. And he's been able to put a bit of daylight between himself
4-2
and the Spaniard now.
Borges.
A couple of half-decent block returns, but Alcaraz, you have to say, has just let the level drop here momentarily.
Yeah, he's faltered. And give Borges credit for applying the pressure. He deserves this set.
6-2. Borges.
I guess he hasn't won it yet, though. Because just a minute of flashy brilliance from the Spaniard could even things up.
He kept himself in it by millimetres there. That backhand was very tight to the baseline.
Third set,
the
Borges.
Portuguese #1 halves the deficit here on Rod Laver Arena. What an effort! And after 2 hours and 30.
Love.
Yeah, I had a conversation with someone the other day actually about Rafa and raised a very pertinent point. Something that I hadn't necessarily thought of, and she said to me that in their opinion there's never been a player who has been able to let emotion impact tennis in a greater fashion than Rafa, i.e. negative emotion. There's never been a player who's been able to let negative emotion completely put to one side to not have an impact on his tennis, which we all got to witness for 2 decades.
Love.
Greatest perhaps compartmentalizer of emotions down there we've ever seen. Hopefully now enjoying his time on the golf course.
Portila.
Nadal first won this event in '09. An incredible 5-setter over Federer.
Game over.
Won it again in 2022. Leading Medvedev
First
from
game,
2 sets to love down. Retiring in Malaga last year in the Davis Cup. What an emotional day that was. A send-off he was given. Hopefully enjoying the fruits of his labour. Borges will be hoping to avoid the same trap that he fell into last year, having down a break early in the 4th against Medvedev, having secured that 3rd set.
30 love.
Some space to work with. And we need the amount of winners off that side. Too tough to be as aggressive off as he would have liked. There's the winners tally in this match. Day and night off the forehand side. Alcaraz trying to play with a bit more discipline there, Josh, by the look of it. Just knuckled down a bit.
Absolutely, it was very noticeable. Just that last backhand to backhand cross-court rally, you could see it. But Nuno Borges' ball, it's hard, it's flat, and it's deep. So it's sort of, this court is receptive to a deep ball, so it's sort of skidding through, and he's just struggling to handle a couple of those there. But he's played very well, Borges. But you're right, I just sense that Alcaraz is locked down a little early in this third set, wanting to try and break.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, he doesn't know whether it's in or out, and he's been given the green light.
Pointed to his ear like he couldn't hear it, but
yes.
Borges is probably going to lift a bit here too. If you never know how that third set might affect him. If he lifts his game 2 or 3, 4%, he might be hard to beat in this set as well.
Means business here. Dropped back off the second serve return, interestingly there. Gave it a big cut.
And gave it a big vamos afterwards as well. And just see things looking a little more serious in the camp over there, urging their man on, desperate to try and get a break. It's warm out here. They wouldn't want to spend an enormous amount of time here, given the heat on the court on such a beautiful day here, Fitzy.
This remarkable young Spaniard has some very special skills at his disposal.
Margaret leads by 2 games to 11.
Scary thing is, you almost felt like he was favourite, didn't you, when the ball went over his head?
Well, he's so dangerous, isn't he? Because when he gets a swing at the ball, yeah, there's no one does it better. So yes, you do. That enters your head. He was grinding more there. more desperate to make the break, wasn't he?
First set of the tournament that he's dropped here, of course, that third set.
$15 left.
How deflating that is for Borges right now.
$30 left. $40 left.
Back to business. It's been a good reset at the end of that third set from Alcaraz's perspective.
It's not an unusual scenario, is it? The higher ranked player loses a close set and then moves away.
New balls, please.
Looks like he might be doing just that here. He's off to a fast start.
Margaret leads by 3 games to love.
What was that all about, starting the time like 30 seconds after?
You know, I just looked up the scoreboard. I don't know if it's correct. You guys have got the monitors and the stats in front of you. It says he's hit 46 winners already. Is that possible? Carlos Alcaraz.
Josh, no wind down there at all. It's still the same conditions.
There's a little bit of wind. I mean, as the afternoon sets in here, it's a little breezy, but yeah, Carlos hitting into the wind now, so that'll mean he can hit out even further.
Yeah, he just seemed to have a little bit more intensity, Alcaraz, in that last game that he broke.
Yeah, he almost went into a clay court mentality where he just locked down and refused to miss, like we see when he gets on the red dirt. Given that, you know, he was pretty flashy and he was certainly trying to finish points quickly, so it just shows you he's got great IQ where he can change and adapt to the scoreline, to the situation, and he can roll through so many different game plans out here. It's scary.
15 left.
Big ask now, isn't it? Just to lift the spirits again and go again, Fitzy, having put so much into that third set.
And I think that's the nature of competitive sport, isn't it? He gave everything he had in that third set. It's probably inevitable that, you know, your whole system drops back a notch or two after that mighty effort. But loose errors will Cost you the match very quickly in this situation now.
Really trying to make something happen early. It's been the forehand that has leaked the errors, really. On the flatter forehands in the men's tour. Hasn't necessarily had the control always that he wanted. Was a bit of a let-off.
Yeah, and that was the match probably right there.
Yeah,
really.
Led for serve. Advantage.
Scruntled look.
Yeah. When the adrenaline drops and you get a little looser, start missing by small margins, but you miss nonetheless.
Yes.
How good was that backhand? The second last backhand stretch.
Advantage.
He was on the full defensive there, and he turned it almost into an aggressive ground stroke. Reversed the fortunes of that point in one shot.
Yeah, Taylor Fritz actually said something pertinent in Shanghai at the end of last year when he was talking about playing Sinner and Alcaraz. He said they're almost never defending. He said it's almost impossible to feel like they're defending because when they are defending, they're often attacking.
Yeah, good point. Big moment now. A loose one.
Yes.
It was almost preconceived, I think, that return of serve. Like, I'm going to go down the line with this, but the ball jumped on him a little more than he expected.
Advantage. Borges. Game. Borges.
Opens his account in the fourth set. There's the world number 33.
Margaret leads by 3-1.
He's only just missed out on a seeding spot. He actually had a nice spike in his ranking because he did well in Auckland last week. And he'll be hoping to keep himself in that top 32 on the majors. A little bit more protection, don't you?
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Players are ready. Please.
Do you think players are getting better at getting on with it when there's movement in the crowd in the lower sections?
Largely, yes.
Largely,
I think,
yeah.
obviously this event here last year broke down some barriers in that regard, didn't it? First time they'd allowed that, and other events followed their path throughout the year, not just majors either.
You support that?
100%.
Yeah, me too. Good body serve. Good mixture.
30 love.
To lose a point on serve in this set.
Wait, please. Cain Alcaraz.
Settled down after just a couple too many errors in that third set breaker. It's tightened up nicely in the fourth. Shots at the back end. His left arm, there isn't a shot there, just to bring the control that comes around the outside of the edge of the ball, fully extended as he's off the forehand wing. He stays through the shot as well, Fitzy, isn't it? Following, tracking the line of the ball.
He's not as tall as a lot, the majority, I'd say, of modern players. He's around the 6 foot mark. So many others these days, 3-4 inches in the old language above that. Borges here has to hold again, as he did in the previous game, just to stay within touch. There's been a momentum shift here early in the fourth. Back to what it was in the first two sets.
Talk about height.
15 left.
I believe now there's only 3 players, maybe 4, under 6 foot in the top 100 of the world rankings.
Is one of them Carlos?
I think he's 6 on the dot, isn't he? Double check. Yeah, 6 on the dot, officially.
30 left.
Sebastian Baez. Yoshito Nishioka. Two of the outliers in terms of both well under 6 foot tall. left at the end of that exchange.
30-15.
He just gives him the run around here, doesn't let him settle at all. Deep he is as well.
Some skill in that shot too. Always easier to go off with that smash. Then you can give the smash the full face of the racket. When you go that way to a right-hander, you have to curve the racket face around the outside of the ball. Outside the right of the ball, curve it around and control that spin, which he does magnificently. Yeah, he's pressing now. Break point again. And rolling fast.
Yeah, he's in an expansive mood at the moment, isn't he, guys? He's hitting and coming forward, and he's just looking irresistible at the moment. He'd desperately love to try and break here and then serve it out. Just under 3 hours, so that's a good day's work. Given third round action, that's just about perfect.
So was that lock.
He's not locked down on every point. Not like Rafa was.
No, that wasn't locked down. He actually could have punished a forehand there, which he just chipped down the line. I thought he really could have hit that. So, and of course that last shot, I'm just not convinced if it was 5-all in the 50 would have played that between the legs.
What, you mean that hot dog?
Yeah, but what it does is he's confident. He's very confident with his own abilities and what he can produce.
Yep.
Even this play, guys, like this is a play that, you know, he doesn't use it all the time, but I think he knows he needs to get better at taking that backhand early, taking it early, hitting it down the line and even following in. I think he's just trying to explore what more he can potentially add to his game, and the fact that he's willing to try it under pressure in a match is great.
Yep.
Game.
I agree. Absolutely. And the more ways you can win points, you know, you say to junior players all the time, increase the number. You know, expansive players don't just win by letting the other guy miss. They find all sorts of ways to win points, and Carlos Alcaraz is at the top of the tree in terms of that. He's still trying to experiment and get better.
That's right, and I think you got to tip your hat to guys like Novak, especially, who have really tried to reinvent his own game, whether it's tinkering with rackets and diet and physical training, all sorts of things on and off the court. So, you know, you can't just wait and think you're going to stay at the top of the tree. You've got to continue to improve.
That's, you know, you go back to the off season and the changes he made to the serve. Obviously, Alcaraz, which I don't know if he's looked at what Jannik did to his serve, but there's been a significant improvement in that department, isn't there, which has allowed him to become a better player, a much better player.
Zverev with a racket change.
Yeah.
It's gone a bit flat again.
15.
He locked in early in this set to get the break. Nearly got a second. maybe just lifted his foot off the accelerator a fraction in the last 5 minutes or so.
Thirteen, 15. Forty, 15.
So numbers have dropped off a little bit in this set, but still only lost at 1 point, remarkably.
Yeah, Fitzy really taking his foot off the gas here.
Well,
Game
he
over.
certainly put it back on in the last 3 or 4 points. Yeah, not far away.
Yeah, the Spaniard finds himself on the doorstep
by
of
5 games to 2.
another good win. Yeah, and of course the winner, as we mentioned earlier on, will play the Jack Draper or Alexander Vukic in action tonight over on MCA. Good order of play there tonight. The Coco Goff and Leylah Fernandez kicking things off in the night session. North American battle there.
They played a good one in the United Cup where Coco got the goods, and I expect her to do it again tonight. She's moving well, in good form.
Been another fantastic month of tennis here down under. As Josh references, of course, United Cup kicked things off just after Christmas. It's in Adelaide, Brisbane. So many of the players just love this time of year. Borges here, serving to stay in this contest.
15 love.
Going to be a bit more of a physical test as well over the next couple of days, because temperatures are set to rise substantially.
Not up.
Hasn't really been the case, has it? Been a fairly mild week weather-wise, which has been kind to the players.
Well, it's been a mild summer. The law of averages say that we'll have a few hot days between now and the end of the tournament, but so far, first 21 days of competition here in Australia, it's been very, very understanding, the weather.
You know, it'll come down to who's playing in the heat of the day, whether you get night scheduling or middle of the day heat. All those types of things start to come into it once the weather really heats up here in Melbourne, because it can be brutal, and these courts, they retain a lot of heat. The conditions get a little bit more lively. So that's probably why it's important here. Alcaraz does get the job done and gets it finished. You don't really want to be spending much more than 3 hours on court in a match like this. Whilst it's been a great test and he's been able to explore and just tinker with his game, I think he'd be thinking enough is enough now.
Forty, 30.
Life difficult. Again, just not able to drag that one back into play. Break in this set. It came so early, really did deflate Nuno Borges. Just when he was looking as though he could potentially be a factor here. That's nice. Great two-hand. He's got a nice simple one, hasn't he?
Hovering near the finish line.
Deuce. Advantage. Watch it.
Legs maybe just going a little as well.
Yes.
Incredibly, that's only his first double by our numbers of the entire match. Impressive going.
Gee, great skill there. That was so subtle. What a nuance on that forehand. It wasn't the amount of back swing there. It was just a little flick of the wrist at the point of contact that made the difference on that forehand. Here we go.
Advantage. Game, set, match, Alcaraz.
It's Alcaraz that advances in Melbourne.
6-2, 6-4, 6-7.
The Spaniard moves on to the Sweet 16. He wins the All-Iberian battle, dropping his first set of the week in the process. But he's looking sharp in his quest to claim all four majors. He wins in 4, just shy of 3 hours. How do you sum that up, Fitzy?
Well, I think he did what he had to do, did enough. Not his complete best, Carlos, but there were flashes of it. And certainly flashes of the incredible entertainer that he is. I thought Nuno was brave. I love a guy that does not just roll over to someone who we all think is superior, but who battled to the end. And he really is a good player, isn't he? He showed that to stay with Alcaraz for nearly 3 hours and be that competitive deserves credit. But Carlos has got more in the tank. And I think his biceps are slightly bigger.
Well, Josh Eagle was walking out on the court there. I thought the roll was for him, Fitzy.
Josh's biceps are not bigger than they were last year. I'm disappointed he couldn't hear that, by the way.
4 wins away from creating a bit of history.
Yeah. Yeah, good point. Well done. Well done, Nick. It was a pleasure to do that with you and to see someone as special as this up close. And he's about to be personal, by the way.
He is. Taking his time here. Get a day off again. He loves to play in the day session, so I'm sure it will be pushing for that again in a couple of days from now. Born entertainer. This guy is someone that you can so rarely take your eyes off. He's thinking Josh Wade. The 3 seed here is through. Let's hear from him with Josh Eagle.
Carlos, congratulations. Welcome back here to Rod Laver Arena. We haven't seen you yet play on Rod Laver, but that looked like a lot of fun today.
Yeah, I missed Rod Laver, so I'm just really happy to be able to play here once again. Or tried to show my best tennis here. Yeah, for me has been a pleasure. You know, every time that I step in this court, as I said many times, it's a really beautiful court. And yeah, the last time that I played here, I lost. So I really wanted to play here and get another win here in the Rod Laver.
You seem to be doing something right. It's a full house. And some of that shot making between the legs, the drop shots, that was superb today. That was absolutely irresistible tennis.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm just happy to see, you know, full crowd or almost full crowd here watching my matches. Just a privilege, you know, to feel this love here in Australia, in the other part of the world, at least for me. Yeah, as I said, I'm trying, you know, to play different tennis, you know, showing different kind of shots. That's what makes me, you know, enjoy playing tennis. What makes me smile on court and help me, you know, to show a really good tennis and try to entertain the people as well. You know, making them happy watching my matches.
You certainly did that, and some. Now, we know you've won all the other 3 Grand Slams, the US Open, your first one, and we also know that you love tattoos. So when you won the US Open, you got a tattoo with the date. You won French Open, you've got the Eiffel Tower tattoo. Wimbledon, you got a strawberry. This whole Australian crowd wants to know, if you are to win the Australian Open, what's it gonna be? A kangaroo, maybe?
It's a kangaroo. That's for sure.
I think the crowd like that, so it's going to be a kangaroo?
It's going to be a kangaroo, so that's my idea. You know, the only thing that I miss is to leave the trophy here, but the plan and the idea it's already taken.
Well, you're off to a very good start, and you must be very happy, and I'm sure this Australian crowd's happy that it could be a kangaroo. Carlos, just lastly, I know you've got Juan Carlos and a big team, and every time I see you, you're up in that Spanish restaurant again, smashing the Spanish food here. You seem to love all that great food up here in the player lounge.
Yeah, I mean, every time that I'm traveling, I miss my food. It doesn't mean that here I eat bad. You know, here in Australia, you know, they have really good food as well. But Spanish food for me, it's almost the best one, if not the best. So I'm just going there every day. So you know, in the morning before matches, I got my stuff, but I got as well, you know, my Spanish omelette. That's you know, bring me a lot of energy. So it's kind of same as last year. It's kind of I kept my energy, you know, in that restaurant.
Your energy level was really high today. Your level was even better. Congratulations, Carlos. Great job, mate. Well done.